Here is the 2024 Nissan Titan SV Crew Cab in red alert over black interior. This is the final year for the Titan. The V8 is going to retire, and unfortunately we're not going to be receiving a Titan next year, which would be nice to see that new Armada engine underneath the hood. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons and the problem that I have with the final year of the Titan. We have the SV convenience package, the utility package, the tow package. So this is pretty much featured up, and we're going to have nearly 10 inches of clearance to start off with front parking sensors. The grille is going to have the dark gray inserts that go into the refreshed Nissan badging. The lower is going to have the chrome elements with the recovery hooks that's blacked out with LED headlights and daytime runnings. And what's housed underneath the hood is even more special because the only vehicles that are still doing V8s are Ford and Chevy. You're not going to see that with Ram for 2025. We have a 5.6 liter V8 producing 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now, because it's a V8, it's not going to sip fuel, and you're not going to expect that. You're getting 15 mpgs for the city, 21 mpgs for the highway, and you this year is a bronze edition, if you can still capture one, because they're getting ready to stop production on the Titan, and that will increase to a 20-inch wheel. Because this is the SV, we have an 18-inch alloy wheels. We have the running boards in towing, 9,290 pounds when you go into the SV with 1,600 pounds payload. So when you're thinking about the price, this is nearly the price of a Ford Ranger Lariat with a couple of features. You're getting a lot of capabilities here because that's not a full-size truck. Now, I know it doesn't compete against that. I'm just saying what you're losing as a value vehicle, because the Ford Ranger, to get something similar to this with the features we have spec, you're talking $65,000 to $70,000. Go into the Ram, the Rebel is going to be the same pricing, and like I said, for 25, you're not going to receive that V8. Now, towing isn't going to be the best in class, but because of the pricing that it's at, you can still get the job done, and it's going to be smooth because this is a body on frame with a multi-link independent front suspension. So I'm sad that we are losing this variant because of the price segment that it's at, and I understand if they did do the refresh and went on with it, probably would increase the price 10, 15 grand, because that's how inexpensive this vehicle is as it sets. LED taillights, rear parking sensors with the reverse camera, spare tire tucked underneath, and that takes me to the problem that I have with the final year of the Titan. Back in 2020, we received kind of a mild refresh. They didn't really change a lot of the configuration in this vehicle, in which it put it behind class in segment, because the towing capabilities should have been increased to more like 12 or 13,000 pounds. The same thing with payload going over 2,000 pounds, so it'd be a little bit more up to date with the Ford F-150 and at least be in class with the Ram Rebel. But sadly, Nissan just kind of forgotten such a gem, in which if you are thinking about getting a smaller truck, this is the last year. It's the best in class warranty also. You get 5-year, 100,000 miles out of this. You're getting a premium warranty. It's going to be a gasaholic, but you still have capabilities to do things better than a smaller pickup truck with the size of a large pickup truck. Soft to open, going into 67 inches long, a depth of 20.8 inches. The width of 63.8 inches, and between those wheel well housing at 50 inches. You'll receive a home plug, and we have the SV utility pack, which adds the Utilitrack system with the tie-down clits, the LED under rail and tailgate illuminated, and the spray-on bed. And to get into it, you just push this down and you use it as a step to get inside. But this is the V8. We need to go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust note. Because we have the SV convenience package, that's why we have the 8-way power seat adjustments, 6-way manual seat adjustment for the passenger. The Pro 4X will have an option for power seat adjustment and climate controlled seats. Headroom and leg room. Because we have the SV package, we get the captain seat configuration in the front, and you're gonna have a lot of space with storage sleeves on both sides. The dashboard is going to be more flat, 6 speakers standard. The fender can be an option on the Pro X auto dimming rear view mirror. Ambient lighting will be on the Platinum tier. 8-inch infotainment screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and we get a reverse camera with trajectory that will expand with the tow line. Dual climate control is standard, and what I like about the Titan is even though you don't have a pass-through, you can pick these cup holders up, you can pick this phone or whatever holder up, and look how much more storage. So it literally configures everything even here with a 12 volts, 2 USB ports. It's gonna be soft to touch. Opens up, and look how deep this is. You can fit a whole pocketbook in here with a 12-volt charger, 2-pin holders, and you get an area for business cards, change, more business cards, and whatever the heck you want to put there. Leather wrap steering wheel, it's multi-function. I'm not a huge fan of the design of the steering wheel. It does look a little bit older with a 7-inch informational display that can go through an array of information for the driver, including the off-road page. Grab handle, dashboard, and door panel configure in together, and it's going to kind of come upward similar to an F-150. Everyday materials up top. It's going to be soft to touch where it needs to be. One touch up and down for the front windows with a long storage pocket. Because we have the SV trailering package, that's why we have this, which it has a lock, and you have a little storage box here, and you can fold this out, so it's kind of a flat floor configuration with a 40-60 split. Grab handles to make it easy with the running boards. Leg space is not going to be an issue. Storage behind both of the front seats with cup holders. USB 12-volt home plug you're taken care of there. Air vents, and in the center we have armrests with cup holders. The door is going to have the same segment that's found in the front, so it is kind of soft to touch with 2 beverage holders and a little storage in the back. Sliding into the center, you have your own feet space, and if you want to stretch it out, you can because the rails are pushed up. This is basically an SUV, or I can say an Armada, with a truck bed. Headroom isn't bad. We have the power window. 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. One thing to think is the Ford F-150 Coyote V8 has less power than this. The Ram Rebel, less power than this. The GMC Sierra, less power than this. Body on frame, let's see what she looks like. It's a bad boy vehicle, and the reason why I like body on frame vehicles is it's literally, you're putting a frame on a body, so it's 2 pieces, so it's going to be a little bit less for maintaining purposes. You also have a better payload, off-road capabilities, and it also helps with towing. The sound deadening in this is almost as good as the F-150. Now, the F-150 is still going to be the best in class, and you can option the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, in which towing is going to go crazy because you're going to have over 13,000 pounds, but there's nothing like a V8 sound coming through the cabin, getting you to point A to point B. You feel like you're sitting higher than the clearance actually suggests. It's going to take me to some pros and cons, and starting off with the pros. This year, if you can option it, you can get the bronze edition, which is kind of unique because they're giving exterior styling to it, plus you get upgraded 20-inch wheels. I think the SV trim is one of the sweet spots because when you add some features to it, you have pretty much all the capabilities unlocked, and you're still under around $55,000. In what world do you live in that you could get something even comparable to this? The con to the body on frame is it's heavy, plus we got a V8, so add that extra weight, it becomes thirsty. But when you're thinking about V8s, anybody in its class, they're all gonna be that way. Even the new hybrid variant for the F-150. Turn radius is about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. She's lovely. Oh man, I'm gonna miss this V8. And the 0 to 60 in this is around 5.5 seconds. It's one of the fastest in class. So you're not only able to get the work done, but you can get it done a little bit quicker. Now it's gonna take me to some cons that I have with the vehicle. We personally owned this vehicle in which the actuators for the climate control, we've had it happen multiple times where they go bad, and it's hard to duplicate because it'll be cold air, then it's just hot air, then it's cold air. They have some issues with that, and there's about 2 or 3 actuators if I'm not mistaken, and both of them have went wrong with us. Towing with it is great. I used to own a boat, and I didn't have any issues. It felt like I wasn't even towing something, whereas when I had my Infinity, it actually lowered the suspension down a little bit, and I get it, it was around 4,600 pounds dry weight. Still, I had 5,000 pounds of towing, and it just felt like it was bogging. You didn't have that issue with this. The cons start with the gauge cluster, the infotainment screen, just the whole dashboard layout just is a little bit more old instead of upscale. Even the steering wheel, they didn't really configure it a lot more so in 2020 like they should have to make this a little bit more competitive against Ford, Ram, Chevy, or even GMC. And one thing I like about Ford is this center cluster, you can fold it out to be a table. Now that is a premium, but it would be nice to do some kind of configuration here. Obviously they're not going to because this is the last year of it, but just optimizing more space, because Cubbies, they did a good job, and even not having a pass-through, they still utilized the full storage capacity in the center. And because we have the SV convenience package, we have a 5-seat captain seat layout, whereas you can actually option this as a 6-seater as well. So if you are thinking, I don't want an SUV, I need something with a bed, but I'd like more than 5 seats, you can get that with this. And some pros is when you add the SV utility, in the back seat, you add those lockable storage bins in the back, plus it can kind of fold out to a flat floor, so it just optimizes a little bit more storage. Sadly, they're not going to do any different configuration. This is pretty much the final run for it, and yet it's the best warranty in class, 5-year, 100,000 miles. It just wasn't enough to attract buyers. The V8, it sounds magnificent. Listen to it. But because of the older interior, it is a gasaholic. It's not going to be the best in payload or towing capabilities. It's a truck that can get everything done. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Brandon Nissan for giving us this 2024 Nissan Titan SV for our car review.